the Minerals Commission once again, as we do most Wednesdays. And for the past few weeks, we've been talking about all the additional measures that have been brought on board in the transportation of our explosives to ensure that they are done in a safe manner in conformity with regulations 95 to 115 of the Minerals and Mining Explosives Regulations 2012 LI 2177. So we've concluded that part of our conversation. Today we are looking at another aspect of mining, and this time it has to do with industrial minerals, and we want to look at the requirements for mining industrial minerals and what the benefits as well as illegalities around those minerals would be. And I'm sure that you have questions as well. You can send them to us if you want some answers. 055556134. And the man who is here to answer all our questions is the Assistant Manager, Small Scale and Industrial Minerals of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Eric Bukari, and he's joined us this morning. Mr. Bukari, good morning and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's your first time at the table.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's Heritage Month. Which region are you representing?
I'm from Upper West region.
Okay.
The Sisala West District.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's iconic about people from your part of the country?
Well, our part of the country, we are actually at the border to Burkina Faso. And then our type of food is usually the TZ that we call here.
Did you bring some this morning?
Well, I ate some yesterday night.
Okay.
Yeah. But in the Sisala language, we'll call it kole.
Kole.
Yeah.
So TZ in the Sisala language is kole.
Yeah.
Okay, let me write that down. Kole. Next time you are coming, please.
Thank you.
You bring plenty.
Sure.
It's a big team. Thank you for joining us. And we are talking about industrial minerals. So what do we mean when we say industrial minerals?
Thank you very much. Once again, good morning to the viewers, and then thank GTV for giving us the opportunity to come across with issues of mining. Typically, we have all known mining to be gold and then diamond and then bauxite. But there is another group of minerals that we call industrial minerals. These minerals usually are used in the industrial setup. So you have construction, ceramics, and others. And typical examples, we have the sand that people mine, we have gravel, we have limestone, we have basalt, we have salt. So these are the types of minerals that we classify as industrial minerals. In Ghana, the laws allows the minister to add on to the number of industrial minerals. So you read the Act 703 at the interpretation and definition sections. It gives you the types of minerals that we classify as industrial minerals in Ghana. Other jurisdictions might have more, but then in Ghana, those are the ones that we have. So if the minister, through the advice of the Minerals Commission, wants to add a particular mineral to it as industrial minerals, then he needs to gazette that one and publicize it. So once it's gazetted and publicized, then we admit it as part of the industrial mineral list of Ghana.
Okay, so yeah. I've written down here sand, stone, gravel, limestone, and salt. Yeah. So you say that elsewhere there are others that we don't have in Ghana. Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, for instance, some have graphite they add to it. So depending upon what the nation will want. But for Ghana, we are dealing with our laws. So these are the ones that the minister, the law has given. So as time goes on, we may add more as they are found. Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's different rules for mining all these different types of industrial minerals, or is it just one law that covers all of them?
Thank you. It's still the one law that covers everyone, but then the type of documentations that you need, that is what will just differ a little bit. If someone is doing, for instance, large-scale gold mining, the type of documentation he will need might be different from somebody going to do salt mining or just sand winning. So the type of documentation will be different, but then the processes for acquiring the license are the same.
Okay, so what kind of documentation do you need for industrial minerals?
Yeah, to be able to do industrial minerals, you need to be a legal entity. In that case, we want to see that you are a registered entity or just an individual who is coming for a small scale type of mining, that's perhaps sand winning. So you need to be a legal entity. So if you are a registered entity, enterprise, limited liability, cooperative, then you need to bring those documentations that you have been registered by the Registrar General's Department. And then the nature of business or the principal activity should include mining. So it means that you can't have just any registered business entity to do mining. It should be registered for mining.
Okay, so if you have a company that's for general export and import and export of general goods, you can't use that company to get a license to mine industrial minerals. That's what you're saying.
You can't use it unless you go and then amend the nature of business to include mining. Then you can use it. So long as Registrar General has not registered it for mining purposes, then you can't use it.
And so what else do you need?
Yeah, so after getting that one, depending on the type of the scale that you want to go into, if you are going into small scale, let's say sand winning, then you get that business registered document. You need your application form. Then one cardinal document is your site plan, because every license is site specific. So you need to get a site plan that covers the area of interest. Then you need to pay your fees that are necessary or required by law to pay. Once you get these ones, we will review the document and then do what we call gazetting. In the gazetting process, we are trying to tell everybody that this company or this entity has interest in a mining activity at a specific location, and therefore we are bringing it to the notice of the public. So the public has the right to comment on it. If you have an objection, you can comment. If you support it, you can comment. We'll then take all these comments and review them and then address them appropriately. Now, when you bring all this in, but if you move from the small scale and then you go into the large scale level, let's say quarries, aside the site plan, aside the business registration document, we also need your business plan, what you actually want to do. We want to find out whether technically you know what you want to do. We want to find out whether environmentally you know what to do. We want to find out whether financially you are apt to the tax. We'll have to get all these things from your business plan. So basically, these are documentations that you need: the company registered document, your application form that you purchase from the Minerals Commission, your site plan, and then your business plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I understand you correctly, there are different or slightly different requirements for mining large scale and small scale. So in this instance, when we say small scale, what are we talking about? Land size? What's the criteria for defining a small scale and differentiating it from the large scale mining of industrial minerals?
Thank you. The law gives the specific definition related to the land size. So if the area you want to mine is less than 25.2 acres, then you fall under the category of small scale.
So
small
less
scale,
than
5.2 acres. So that is in cadastral block units, that will be 12 cadastral blocks. Each cadastral block for small scale is 2.1 acres. So if you fall within that land size, then you'll be classified as a small scale. The other definition also is that you should be a Ghanaian. So these are the two definitions that differentiates a small scale from the large scale.
So it means that if you are non-Ghanaian, you can do large scale industrial mining.
Yes.
But then the small scale is reserved
for Ghanaians.
For only Ghanaians.
Yes.
Why did you find the need to make that distinction?
Well, initially, even the small scale, the law said that the industrial minerals, the law actually gave it that it's meant for Ghanaians. But then if a foreigner wants to come in, then he has financial requirement of about $10 million. So you realize that investing $10 million into sand winning will not be worthwhile. But investing it into something like limestone is a lot of investment that you need to get into it. Investing it into something like kaolin for a bigger project is also necessary. Investing 10 million into salt is also very necessary. So we also realize that you look at the name industrial minerals, it's actually minerals that are used in the industry. Ghanaians are building, Ghanaians are doing constructions. We also want Ghanaians to participate more. So that's where the focus actually was. But then we also need to exploit the mineral resources efficiently. Yeah.
Right. Are there specific groups of people who qualify to mine industrial minerals?
Yeah, as I said earlier on, specifically, everybody qualifies to mine industrial minerals.
Even if you don't have knowledge of the industry, of the sector?
The knowledge, where we will get it from is usually when you present your business plan, we are able to see the CVs of those that are supposed to do the mining activity. So we get the type of knowledge that we want there. So depending upon the skill and then the type of mining, you will need certain expertise to do that activity. However, things like sand winning, the basic knowledge you will need is how to mine safely, how to also mine and then reclaim the mined out areas. So you realize that sand winning levels are not too much. So a lot of Ghanaians are actually in there. However, you need the expertise. You need to know that when you mine, you need to reclaim. Do you just leave the pit? Usually it's about maximum 1 meter deep, sometimes 2 feet deep. But then you need to make sure you gravel it up, you use your bulldozer. So once you are coming in, you should know it. Also, we do have associations for small-scale sand winners where training goes on. Our inspectorate division does a lot of training for them so that they will be able to know the technicalities when it comes to the environmental aspects of the mining. Before we also give you the license, we are also expected to do what we call pre-licensing inspection. In that direction, we will have to look at the suitability of the area that you want to go and mine. So of necessity, through that activity, we will be restricting people from going into certain areas once you come into the ambient of the law.
Before we come to the restrictions, you mentioned pre-licensing inspections.
Yeah.
Who assumes responsibility for prospecting for these industrial minerals? Because one of your colleagues who was here a couple of weeks ago educated us on how you need to first find that there's a mineral here to be mined and then present that as part of your documentation to kind of justify why you need the license. Is that also required when it comes to industrial materials? Do you need to prove that that material is actually there to be mined?
Yeah, there are various stages of the licensing process. Though we are talking and then mentioning small scale, we actually have all the 3 categories of licensing in the industrial mineral sector. So we have the recognizance license, we have the prospecting license, and then we have the mining lease itself. When it comes to industrial minerals, we just want to qualify it by adding restricted recognizance mining license, restricted prospecting license, and then restricted mining lease.
Why restricted?
That is just the name that we have given to it.
Just to differentiate
to differentiate it from the normal
okay.
license that you have. So as soon as you hear restricted recognizance license, you know that we are talking about an industrial mineral. You hear restricted prospecting license, we are talking about industrial mineral. Restricted mining lease, we are also talking about industrial minerals. So as the name goes, that you hear restricted recognitions and restricted prospecting, it tells you that the applicant has applied to look for the mineral that he has stated in his application. So a company, let's say like West Africa Quarries, decides to mine limestone. They will want to find out the quantities and the grades that they have, the specific location of the deposit within a particular area of the license. So they decide that, okay, we want to start with a recognizance license, or we want to start with a prospecting license. In that case, they are going to look for it. So the onus then lies on the applicant to look for the quantities and the qualities and the specific locations of the mineral. However, Geological Survey Authority are also an institution of state that does a lot of prospecting activities in the country. So they host a lot of database when it comes to locations of minerals in Ghana. Currently, we are having a committee, a national steering committee made up of Minerals Commission and then Geological Survey, who are doing a number of prospecting activities for industrial minerals. So the onus lies on government as well as the applicant, but the details of it lies on the applicant.
So is the applicant also expected to own the land that they are going to mine from or on? And what should be the relationship between the one presenting the application and the owner of the said land?
Thank you. Mineral rights are not surface rights. So once you are given a mineral rights, it's not automatic that you are having the surface rights. So it means that once you are given the mineral rights, you need to consult the landowner and then also obtain their blessing to be able to do the mining peacefully. So every applicant is expected to consult and contact the landowners to be able to work on their land peacefully. They usually say that you need a social license to be able to mine. So once we give you the mining or the mineral rights, we are not automatically telling you that you own the land. You don't own the land. You only have access to the minerals to exploit them for the benefit of the whole country. So landowners have a right when it comes to their land. They have a right of compensation for you taking up their land to do mining activity. In that activity, you are actually going to deprive somebody of the economic activity that he might want to be doing on his land. In that direction, the law, that is Act 703, gives the landowner the right to certain types of compensations. So we have 3 types of compensations that they need to get. You have property. If there is any property on it, you need to negotiate with the owner and then pay appropriate and adequate or fair compensation. You also need to negotiate with the landowner to pay what we call land use compensation, as well as crop compensation. So all these things are some of the reasons why every applicant needs to look for the landowner and then deal with the landowner in that direction in the licensing process.
So this applies even if the owner of the land is a chief or is being held in trust for a community?
Sure. In Ghana, we have various type of land ownership. You have stool lands, you have family lands, you have individual lands, and then you have state lands. So you, the applicant, the onus lies on you to look for which type of land ownership you are going into. That is why the 21 days publication, Gazette publication, is also given out, so that when the site plan is publicized at the district assembly in the community that the activity is supposed to go on. Everybody have access to it. So if you also see that it is in your land, but the owner, the applicant has not contacted you, you can contact Minerals Commission, and then we'll link the two of you up for you to be able to negotiate for the appropriate compensation and then access to the land.
Okay, because we'll be wrapping up in a couple of minutes, I just want to pick your thoughts. Because part of the industrial minerals mining is reserved solely for Ghanaians, it might help some to have an idea of how much monies they may need if they are interested in perhaps starting a company or registering a company to get into mining industrial minerals. How much do you think someone may need to consider putting together to help them through the process until they get to the final stage of mining and then selling off what they've mined?
Yeah, thank you. For the licensing process, there are various fees based on the various categories that the applicant is coming in. There is a lot of discrimination when it comes to fees based on nationality. If you're a Ghanaian, your fees are lower. If you're a foreigner, your fees are also pegged for you. So the fees are roughly for the application form, the processing fee, and the annual mineral rights fee itself. So for sand winning, for instance, is small scale. So you will have the application form that generally goes for the cedi equivalent of $200. Then you have the processing fee as $140 cedi equivalent. Then you have the annual mineral right fee is based on the concession size that you are taking. So it is $15 cedi equivalent for the small scale. Now when you come to the large scale Ghanaian, still the application form is $200. The processing fee is $350 cedi equivalent. The annual mineral right fee is $650 per cadastral unit. Then when you come to the foreign participation, where foreigners are involved, then the application form
goes higher.
Yes, goes higher, $350. The processing fee goes to $500. Then annual mineral right fee is $3,000 per cadastral unit per year. So it varies. There is a lot of discrimination in there.
I think that this all time will permit us. I'm sure you have so much more to say. So perhaps on our next date next week, if there is more to share, I'm sure that you'd be happy to come back and help us understand this a bit more. An opportunity for Ghanaians to get involved, create jobs for themselves and other people, I would say. So thank you for sharing them with us. Mr. Eric Bukari is the Assistant Manager, Small Scale and Industrial Minerals at the Minerals Commission. He's been helping us understand industrial minerals mining in Ghana and what the prospects may be for you, even if you don't have any mining knowledge, to get yourself surrounded by the rightly qualified persons to perhaps prospect for industrial minerals. So that could be sand, gravel, limestone, and salt. So all these are industrial minerals that the law permits us to take part in the mining for, and the minister has the sole right to add more onto the list if it is found to be necessary. This is our time with the Minerals Commission, and that's how we wrap this segment. We'll be back.